10 a.m. Have a great time listening.
Welcome to the Rhythm of the Conference.
The food we eat daily could be making us sick. Reports of beans preserved with sniper, fufu fermented with detergent, and fish treated with formalin are raising serious health concerns. This morning, we're asking, who is regulating what goes into our food? Joining us is pharmacist Kim Jerry Bort, Director General of the Plateau State Drugs and Medical Commodities Management Agency. We would be discussing chemical food preservation, regulation, and how to keep Plateau safe. Good morning, Plateau, and thank you for joining us on this midweek edition of the program. Good morning, pharmacist. How are you?
Inga Shosam.
And I love the fact that each time I call you, wherever you are, I called you yesterday, you're in Abuja, and you said, Inga, I'll be here.
Thank you.
Thank you for always obliging to be here. We appreciate.
Plateau is of utmost interest.
Yeah, Plateau first.
Yeah.
Plateau first.
Good morning, Plateau citizens.
Okay, so maybe I should start by asking the listener this morning, is your food safe? And this morning we want to expose the chemicals on our plates and what government should do about it. Okay, pharmacists.
Yeah.
I talked about formalin. I talked about detergent. Some crazy things that people do on our food. And it looks like we're on the fast lane. Everybody wants to be on the fast lane. Everybody wants to make quick money. You want to food to be done quickly, and so we all go into this. So we want to know what health damages do these chemicals do on our systems.
Everybody wants to be the favorite one, and I'll start by saying that each and every one of us has that one woman that you know that when you go to her restaurant, her meat is softer than any other place, her beans is softer than any other place. You also know one fruit vendor who always has well ripened fruits like banana, like apple, like plantain. And I also know that we all have that one person who is a butcher that probably works in an abattoir, and when you go there, you are certain that you are going to get a particular kind of meat whose pomo is very fat
and soft,
whose meat is staring at you in a salivating manner, and you are left with no choice than to even collect some of those meats in debt. You don't care. You also know that there's that one person who sells clothes, and you are sure that when you get to that person, you're going to get some particular kind of clothes. You also know that one hair vendor or somebody who barbs your hair, that when you go to that person knows exactly what to do and what chemical to apply. In all this, I'll cap it up by a book that was written by one of my professors, Professor Noel Wanang, who is currently the Vice Chancellor or the pioneer Vice Chancellor of Federal University of Education, Panshin. One of the book or his inaugural lecture presentation in the University of Jos, which says Suicide by Installment, a tale of poisophilicity. Now what that means is that you're gradually ingesting poisons without you knowing. You think that you are doing good to yourself. Well, today by the grace of God we are going to actually understand that some of the things we do are governed or are guided by simple principles, and those principles are nature, and then they surround issues around nature. There is nothing that aborts a vacuum than nature. So by the time you take away nature, then every other thing becomes synthetic, and that's how we see it. So it's pathetic that a lot of things are happening, and we're going to actually be x-raying a couple of examples that will open our eyes to the understanding of what we have. And before I just drop this mic, I want to say that in this same JOS, we had an opportunity to actually analyze a particular cosmetic. I won't want to mention whether it's powder or lip gloss or whatever. What we saw was alarming. And I want to say today that we in Nigeria have a long way to go.
So it's not even about the food alone. It also has to do with our cosmetics.
Yeah, so the lip gloss, the what do you call it, the lipstick and whatever you apply on your lips. Okay, for example, if you're a female, why must you still apply it the following day? What happened to the one you applied before? Where did it go to?
It fades off and you need to renew.
Fades to where? It's not a volatile compound. It's not a volatile compound. It is actually being absorbed in the skin.
Oh wow.
Yes, the skin is an absorption surface.
And this is scary.
Yes.
And I'm wearing one.
Yeah. You may look on it. I guarantee you that it's just an instrumental way of ingesting poison into your body. I'm not discouraging you. We love our women to actually look beautiful, but there are more valuable ways to do it. There are ones that are healthy. There are ones that are, that you could, look at in a way that it will help. For example, when we grew up, we normally would see our mothers using, do you remember Tausali?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tausali is actually very medicinal. Okay, it's medicinal, and you recall the nature with which it is being packaged.
Yeah.
Okay, but now it has been overtaken by events, and other things that are actually around this. We put on artificial hairs. We think that we are just glowing around and moving, but what we actually take away is that there's an interaction process between our hair and sunlight and the environment. And by the time you put an artificial hair, you're just glowing and enjoying. You now begin to have broken hairs. You now begin to have bald hair. You now begin to have all other issues. And unknowingly to you, there's an electrification process that eventually causes hormonal imbalances in women. And bam! Ovarian cancers, breast cancers, cervical cancers. And we think that God just sent this your way. But sadly, you tried yourself.
I feel like pulling off my hair.
Oh, is that an artificial hair? I'm not speaking to you. I didn't know it's an artificial hair.
Okay, so maybe we need to know what that does to the system or the chemicals. I know the formalin, the detergent, and all, we ingest them. The worst is mangoes being put in. We used water. What do they call it? Water. Oh, to ripen it.
Water too.
Yes, to ripen it.
Okay.
So, what are the dangers in that?
All right. So, if, for example, I go to buy grains in the market, okay? If I go to buy, let's say beans, I want to buy beans. Most times, over 80% of women or personalities who go to buy, or men too, even, go to buy beans in the market, they look for the one that doesn't have weevils.
Yeah.
Okay? And you think that the one that doesn't have weevil is safer for you. Look for the ones that have weevil, because
those
if
are the safe
weevil will
ones.
survive, then you will survive. Do you understand the logic?
Yeah.
So, in this ecosystem, we are living a symbiotic life. God has made it that way to provide preliminary understanding for you. Okay? When we were children, we used to go to the farm properly, and then there are times that you could have locusts actually invading our crops. But in the ecosystem, in ecology, they have their values. They have what they do. Okay? And most times when they come like that, they erode those kind of crops. And why they do that is for them to emit what is needed for the environment. It's a cycle. That's why then we call it life cycle. So these days we see people wanting to sell grains out, and then they treat it with, for example, sniper. Okay? And sniper is a very terrible phosphate, and it contains an irreversible what we call cholinesterase, that upon poisoning you only have minimal treatment options, and it is time bound. You cannot in any way survive it if that time goes off, unless and until God decides that you'll be all right, and that's far above human factor. So going to the market to buy grains, and then you get to see those grains
with weevils,
or
insects.
That should be your choice. The ones that have insects roaming around, it should be your choice, because if those insects will survive, you will survive. Bring it home, put it in water to wash it, and the insects move. They are suspended, or you dry it under the sun, and you'll be all right. Okay, but the one that is exceptionally clean, run for your life. Run for your life. All right, so let's also look at other things. One of the things that we've cited is how, with sincere apology to those who farm fishes, all right, but you know the way fish ponds are arranged. First, you give them synthetic foods with high dose antibiotics and high dose hormones, all right, to keep the fingerlings moving and all that. But there are dyes that you get to put inside, because you expose them under the sun. There are dyes that are also injected inside the water.
What
and
are those
dyes are actually protective for the fish from sunlight.
So let's know what dyes mean.
Dye, D-Y-E. A dye.
Okay, dye. Oh, yes. Okay.
A dye is a shade, and we call that dye Sudan 1. So we have grades Sudan 1 to 4, and basically those kind of dyes, they create a thin film on the water surface to stop the striking of the fish from sunlight. There's also another critical thing that happens. There's also another dye, very, very scary. We call that dye malachite. And that particular dye, what it does is that it's, as fishes grow, their fins actually get old and they fall off. The skin and the scales also fall off. But what that dye does is that it makes old fishes to look fresh. If you come to buy it, to harvest them, you will see very clearly that they are fine, they are good to go. Malachite has done its job. If you know the danger of that dye, there won't be. We will make sure that we have this discussion every day.
But maybe someone will use the analogy you just used. If the fish survive in it, that means they're healthy for us as well.
No. So this is the point. Dyes are not antibiotics. But you see, for example, those particular dyes are actually chemicals. They are synthetic chemicals. They are nitrous. They are natural compounds. And those nitrogenous compounds, once they form those films on the surface, okay, it provides a sheet where it then provides like a false impression that the fish is fresh. That's why sometimes the fish is roasted, or if it's boiled and you are chewing it, it looks elastic. Okay, you probably may not have eaten the fish before, those kind of fishes before, but the fish may sense or may sound elastic when you are eating, when you are chewing it. It may sound as though it's a rubber. Okay, and then another thing about it, very critical, that you need to know is that if you know the meat, how fish looks like or how it tastes, by the time you eat those kind of fishes, you know what we're talking about. And they're here with us. They're very close to us here in Jos. We have a couple of them that are sold in different places. Okay, in different places, and that's because of all this. So the issue of whether it survives there or not depends on the strategy. The reason why, for example, sniper is used to treat beans, for example, or all forms of dicloves, okay, that are used to treat apart from sniper, right? Basically we call them cholinesterase derivatives, is so that it prevents insects from invading those seeds. So they are simple pesticides, for example, right? But this is not a pesticide. in this case, it provides a layer to say, since the fish pond is outside, make sun no beat am. Let it be fine. Another thing again around there is, since there is no market now, let me make them a bit elongated in life so that they will look fresh anytime they come to buy them. You see them going round and round and round and round as though they are fresh.
Active.
But those gills, those scales, they have all fallen off. Those fins have all fallen off. Or better still, are supposed to have fallen off. But because you've calcified them with malachite, those kind of dyes, it becomes a bit of a concern that you must be able to be seen providing those interventions. Another thing that actually is a serious concern to us is that one butcher who has good meat in abattoir compared to his contemporaries. Some of them actually have a particular injection they give their cows or their cattle 48 hours before it's been slaughtered. So I pay for it. Please, before you bring it, do the injection. Once it comes, we slaughter it. And by the time we slaughter it, the pomo will be abnormally bigger. You and I know, Inga, that when we were children, if we must eat pomo, after dinner today, they will put it on fire. If you must eat it, somebody must wake up in the night and still come and push those firewoods. Then the fire goes off. In the morning, you continue. But nowadays, the kind of pomo we have, you cook it in 1 hour and it's ready to eat. And it gets ripened at the same time with the meat itself. Okay? There's a problem. The skin tissue is the toughest tissue in the whole human body. It is not easy to pierce the tissue. Okay? So, and the skin is the largest organ in the body. So, that way, it tells you how tough it is. Alright? And God has made the skin in a way that it's absolutely protective. And those of cows and those of other mammals, apart from humans, are even a lot more tougher than what we have. Okay? Especially those who are not exposed to all forms of hydrocarbons and other chemicals in a bit to change the melanin component of their skin. Okay? Now, what about that one restaurant that has a very soft beans? Okay? They treat it most times with, for example, high dose paracetamol. Right? High dose paracetamol. And that high dose paracetamol actually is used to tenderize meat. It's also used to tenderize beans. It's also used to tenderize all kinds of proteins so that it makes it softer and shortens the cooking time or exposure to heat. What that does is that it saves them cost of having it exposed, and it brings more people to say, madam, your meat is always soft, let me come and sit down here because this is the only restaurant I've come and I realized that your meat is consistently soft. I've also realized that your beans is juicy. All those things are stories because they are made. Ideal beans that is well cooked and that is healthy, it doesn't tash, meaning it remains intact.
Yeah.
When we're children, when you eat, there are some beans that when you eat, they still come out in your stool as it is, and it's boiled. That's a healthy beans. That's a healthy beans. So the baseline of all this is kidney failure, liver failure, cancers, okay, blindness, and there's no limit. That's the truth. That's the baseline of all these things I've mentioned. That's the baseline. Recently, this formalin we're talking about is actually formaldehyde, right? When we were being trained in pharmacy school, we had an opportunity of going into the cadaver room when we were taking anatomy. Now, formalin is the main chemical that is used to preserve dead bodies. So then, simple inhalation of formalin alone
is enough danger.
Is actually enough danger. And then our lecturer then will not even allow us to stay longer than normal inside the cadaver room. The first time we entered the cadaver room, some of our classmates came out vomiting because of the inhalational effect of formalin. But today, we use it to preserve all kinds of meat that we think that people use to ingest. I mean, it's pathetic.
It's crazy.
For some of us, we ran away from those things, and God has helped us to just say, it's better we go back to the days of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You recall that when they actually ate those vegetables purely, what happened to them? They look fresh than those who even call themselves the people in the corridors of power. You won't die if you do it.
Let's look at the nutrition of palm oil. Something is being done there too.
That's another thing. You know, again, palm oil is also being dyed with another dye, the same kind of dye we call Sudan 124. It's pathetic, honestly, the way we do things. Palm oil has a lot of healthy components in it. Palmitic acid. It also has retinoic acid, retinol, all those very good components, active and inactive components of vitamin A that are healthy, are actually contained in palm oil. Now, bringing in that nitrogenous compound, you've messed it up. Not just making it look as though it's red. The next thing you see is they further thin it with water. And that water alone introduces microbes that can as well affect the normal flora that is within your gastrointestinal tract or your stomach lining. We have protective microbial lining. But by the time you eat those kind of things, they erode it, they take it out, and it makes you defenseless. You know, when you have a house that has a fence, then from nowhere the fence all around goes down, you can't guarantee your security as much as when the fence is there. Okay, so basically that's what happens. And you know, you cannot guarantee the function. There are some palm oils that when you buy them and you start frying whatever it is you want to fry inside, and by the way, palm oils are not even supposed to be fried. They're not even supposed to be fried. The more you fry it, those components are not stable at a particular temperature. When you create a contact between that oil and the metal or the aluminium or whatever kind of pot you use, it kills them. You are just doing a mere jamboree. So then our parents used to cook potatoes and beans, or beans and rice, or yam, and they will just put everything in the fire
together
with the cold water and put the oil on it. The sweetness in that thing, it can take you to heaven and bring you back. Yes, the sweetness is unprecedented.
Everything is natural.
Yes, if I'm going to make me on cooker, you actually don't fry the oil. You put the oil along with the cold water. There's a reason for that. It's chemistry. It's chemistry. I hope you know the soaps we use, those toilet soaps, not the medicated soaps per se. Okay, those that have mild antiseptic effect, they are made from palm oil. It's a simple saponification process. Now the coming in of that dye, what does it do? By the time you start frying that oil, how you know you are not on the right track? The kind of foam that will be coming from that oil it has to emit just the way you know ammonia emits. That's what happens, because it's purely nitrogenous. Do you understand? So, I mean, we are just unnecessary on the fast lane in this country. But this is the good news.
So how do we differentiate those, like the beef you just talked about? You talked about the skin being softer than usual. But how about the fruits? How do we differentiate those that chemicals have been used on them?
Let me answer. I gave that of beans already.
Yeah.
For fruits, there's a stem that connects to the bunch. Once you see it going black, it's not even supposed to be a different color from the body. If it's a different color from the body, it's treated.
Okay.
It's treated already. And I hate to say that the carbide, for example, that they use is a synthetic. Normally, ethylene is a plant hormone that actually enhance ripening of fruits. Normally, that's the natural one that is secreted by the plant. We call it ethylene. So ethylene is now derived from the natural one to make carbide, and carbide is phosphorylated, and because of the phosphorus in it, and the phosphorus is not well placed on the chain, it actually affects the coloration on the plant because the chlorophyll there is affected. Chlorophyll is the pigment that actually maintains the color of the plant itself. So by the time you see the difference, okay, in coloration, some even turn black. Why will you buy? If you go to buy plantain and you see that it's becoming black, it's a problem. Why they carry plantain all over now is because if you keep it for more than a particular number of days, you will lose it.
Yeah.
And they'll call a high price. I bet everybody listening to us, once they call that high price, just try to beat the price down. By the time you try to beat the price down, you buy it at almost half that amount.
A quarter of the price.
Yes. Okay. And why? Because they just want to let it go. If they leave it till the following morning, they will lose it. They will lose it. So enhancing this ripening with carbide is a problem. That's one way to know the difference. For palm oil, when we were children, those that are treated with dyes, first, from physical assessment, you see the difference in color. The redness in the one that is treated with dye is different from the one that is not. Secondly, subject the two of them to heat. Okay? If you subject them to heat, you know the best way to sell palm oil is actually through a transparent container. And normally the healthy one, it doesn't slip off unnecessarily. Even if it does, it doesn't create two layers.
Okay.
The one that creates two layers provides a supernatant, and that's a dye. Okay? And if it provides that component that has a dye, or if it provides that layer, then it's no longer healthy. But the ones that slip off and is hard uniformly, at least you can say considerably that one is not completely adulterated. But the one that is uniformly settled, the one that is not in any way is not sleeping. So that's why I'm saying sleeping.
Sleeping, yeah.
The one that is not sleeping is fine. Permit my English, because that's not actually the word. And those red oils, there's something we call rancidity. If it becomes rancid, it is characterized by the smell. The one that is treated with dye, it becomes rancid easily. You could inhale the smell. As soon as you just open it, you could smell it. It does this. It's a foul smell. You will not like it. But it's red oil though. But it's not clear. By the time you take it home and you put it on fire, you put it, for example, inside, you want to fry it, for instance, for those who are stubborn, you still want to fry it. By the time you fry it, what will happen? You see foam coming out of it. That's an emission process of nitrogen or any form of carboxylic component, and that's not it.
So those that foam are the bad ones.
Yep. So the ones normally is an unsaturated compound. And unsaturated means it has a couple of double bonds and very good chromophores in there. And so what they do generally is that they have an elongated chain that naturally has an exposure and will be able to manage. So the ones that actually sleep, by the time, that's why when you keep it under the sun, it relaxes. Why? Because sunlight is a source of UV radiation on the chromophores. So the chromophores are actually light absorbing species. Do you understand? So for us, in fact, one of the things we discovered lately is that even zobo leaves, they are dyed.
They've gone to that extent.
They've dyed it. As soon as you go to just put it, you see the normal redness and see this and that and that. So I find it very funny the way we do things. Do you know that even fufu, they treat fufu with detergent?
Yes.
They cook fufu with clean. so that it will be smartly slimy. You know, you want to cut it. You feel that this is real fufu. It will draw fufu and draw soup. Fufu they draw, soup they draw, and you think you are already on the right lane. It's a problem. Those particular detergents actually contain surfactants or emulsifiers that are not healthy for you. Let's simply learn to consume what we produce. It's a very hard thing to say, but I think it's necessary. I don't know how people will see it. My wife recently planted watermelon on our plant. You won't believe it. This watermelon, in 3 months, this watermelon came very big. Plant it and chew. Eat it and see, you see the difference. If you bring agri chicken, what do you call it, the egg, and local chicken egg, is there no difference?
There's a difference.
You know the difference, right?
Lots of difference.
The local one go the hustle. This one, na jebo. You will know what they talk now.
It's been an interesting conversation with pharmacist Kim Jerry Bott, the Director General, Drugs and Medical Commodities Management Agency. And this morning we're looking at poison on our plates, chemical preservation and the health crisis we are having in this country. We will take a break, and when we return, this conversation will continue. Stay with us.
Having breakfast, driving, or in the office?
Let us keep you company on Good Morning Plateau, Mondays to Fridays.
Tune in for lively discussions on trending topics and issues that matter most to Plateau citizens.
From politics to culture, economy to entertainment.
We'll dive into the topics shaping Plateau State.
Catch the conversation daily and have your say.
Stay informed, engaged, and inspired with Good Morning Plateau.
Your daily dose of Plateau.
If you are just tuning in, this is Good Morning Plateau on Peace FM 90.5, and we have been having an engaging conversation with pharmacist Kim Jerry Bott, Director General, Drugs and Medical Commodities Management Agency, and we have been looking at the poison on our plates. We have even extended it to even our cosmetics, and while we're talking off air, he even mentioned even our clothing are affected. So we would continue this conversation, but before I allow you to be part of this conversation through your calls, do we have pharmacists? Do we have any regulatory body that checks on all these things are happening, and our health is being affected? So is there anybody, any agency?
Yes, so by
checking on that?
By law, under the Office of the Director of Food and Drugs of the Federal Ministry of Health, who is always a pharmacist, okay? You are saddled with the responsibility to have this control, wherein NAFDAC is domiciled. Do you understand? So by law, there is NAFDAC. NAFDAC is the National Agency for Foods and Drugs
Administration.
Administration and Control. Okay? So whatever that is administered to the body, it is covered. Now, we also have another component. Standards Organization of Nigeria. It's also enshrined in their law. But the Standard Organizations of Nigeria has a wider scope. The scope of SON even covers the kind of glasses we wear, the kind of clothes we wear. If you go to Kaduna State, the kind of clothes that is allowed, that should be allowed to Kaduna, should be different from what should be allowed into Plateau. But how much of that do they do?
Exactly. I was going to ask if they're doing their jobs.
I remember
because this is becoming a norm.
Yes, I remember when Pharmacist Odumodu was DG SON. He was my Oga. Then, when I was a student union leader in Unijos. So we traveled one time and we had a discussion with him. There were things he put in place. But I'm sorry, I'm not sure we're doing what we're supposed to do.
So, what do people do now?
So, as a state, what we've decided to do now is, in Plateau State, we'll set up our own mini lab, which I've been saying it on this platform. If we have any complaint about food, we do a preliminary analysis for you. Food poisoning, we do it. If we have any complaint on food that is being sold in the market, you bring it, we do it. Once you do the analysis, we share the informal result with you. I repeat, we share the informal because we have not been empowered by law to do that. But we are already drafting the legal component. If it gets to pass on the floor of the House of Assembly, we will. One of the submissions we made on the floor of the House of Assembly is a bill to establish a center for mitigating manufacturing, and use and even sale of illicit substances of abuse. And we've made that submission on the floor of the Assembly, and I'm glad we've even attended the first hearing, and we are moving. Once it is done and it is passed into law in the states, it will be incorporated, and we also have another office. And we said in that place, please, it's an urgent need for Plateau State. Even if it's not going to be available as a standalone agency, let us have it as an additional directorate in the Plateau State Drugs and Medical Commodities Management Agency. And honestly, I love the enthusiasm from the members of the House of Assembly. I can see how they are very interested in driving this. The next one we're working on is adulteration of natural food substances. So for me, as a natural product scientist and as a quality control specialist, I'm not going to allow this to slide. We will keep pushing, because I am very certain. One time when we were discussing with His Excellency, the Governor of Plateau State, Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang, we were trying to outline some of the issues that actually relates to the vulnerability of Plateau people to hepatitis B and C. I hope you know our indices are going up badly. Yeah. And the problem with the indices, the problem is not even about the indices. The problem is about affordability of the treatments. You will not be able to treat hepatitis B if you are not above average in Nigeria. And by the way, hepatitis B is not even curable as at now that I speak. But hepatitis C is curable, and it's crazily expensive to treat. But by the time we say we keep exposing ourselves to issues that will further make the liver to fail, then you are making yourself more vulnerable to those conditions. Because hepatitis is a viral infection or inflammation of the liver due to either the viral component of an infection or other causes. So
while we wait for the law to come into place, what should citizens do to protect themselves?
Yes, so we've actually, first what we are doing is to advocate, and we are providing the education, as it were, and that's what we are doing now. And I appreciate this platform that PRTV has actually brought to make it known to people. It is time for us, I think, to return to the hallmark. Those days that things were working for us, those days that we normally would do things naturally. Have you ever wondered why our parents actually live longer than us? And these days,
it's healthier than us.
See, Inga, in just this August alone, or between July and August, I know more than 5 people that are close to me that slumped and died.
Young people?
Yes, young people. Our age limit, they will just slump and die. And it's because of this kind of instrumental exposures. You think you are doing yourself a favor, or you are enjoying whatever it is that you die. You die. There are things you just have to avoid. You don't have an option.
So you have to just be careful.
Absolutely.
When you go to the market, like you have ruled out how to identify
so
them.
advocacy is what we're doing. Secondly is to open your eyes on what kind of to make when you get to the market. You don't just buy everything you see on the market. Let's force the business people to actually go our way, Yeah.
Okay, the phones have been buzzing. So let's hear from our caller or our listener this morning on 0812-588-6048. Lots of call. Everybody wants to ask, so let's hear from them. Hello.
Good morning, Mother Inga Samuel.
Good morning.
Good morning, Pharmacy Kim Jerry, in the studio.
Morning, sir.
I am Gorugo Company calling from Kanshi.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mother Inga. Pharmacy Kim Jerry, you are talking very well about who is regulating what goes into our food. We have been eating chemical food which is unhealthy to our health, and we have been facing a lot of cancer due to chemical food. We need to go back to our natural food. Therefore, our lifespan has reduced due to unhealthy food. Some people preserve beef with sniper and fish treated with fingernails, which is causing more harm to the body. Our food should be our medicine, and our medicine should be our food. And our forefathers and our mothers live longer than our today's generation due to the natural food that they eat. There should be a synergy between the Plateau State Drug and Medical Commodity Management Agency and the National Agency for Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) and the Standard Organization of Nigeria (SON) to regulate substandard food in our market. But my most concern is that some of the butchers in our abattoir sell unhealthy meat to their customers. We need to eat healthy food so that we can tackle the issue of diseases that we are facing. The issue of regulating food items should not be in the urban area alone. The regulation should be in the rural area. And all these canned food have effect in our health. We have been facing with liver failure, cancer, blindness due to unhealthy food. I want to give kudos to Pharmacy Kim Jerry for a job well done. But the Plateau State Drug and Medical Commodity Management Agency should try to establish their warehouses in all the 17 local government states. But due to economic hardship, people eat unhealthy food because people are living from hand to mouth. The government should have the political will to reduce the cost of food commodity in our market. There should be price control board to control the food items that we eat, and the food we eat should not be taken for granted. But my question to Pharmacy Kim Jerry Board is that I want to know the effect of chemical and natural fertilizer for our food. Please, I want the pharmacy to clarify me on that. That is my own opinion, Mother Inga and Kim Jerry Board in the studio. Have a lovely day and God bless you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Gwazo. But I think people who live in the rural areas actually live healthier than the people in the city.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. 0812-588-6048 is the number to call, and we have someone already. Hello. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Gao calling from TCNM.
Okay, Mr. Gao, go ahead.
Thank you so very much. Pharmacist, you've spoken well. Today's show is an eye-opener. Truly speaking, there are things you say that throughout my lifetime I've not heard of that, but I've come to understand and learn a lot today, and I give it up to you. Truly speaking. But these things need to be extended beyond radio talk show. What you analyzed, your input should be extended to other communities, to our secondary schools, particularly concerning makeups. You know, I'm a teacher and I teach in a secondary school, and truly speaking, makeup has become something that is eating deeply into the life of our young girls, particularly if they reach SS3. They look at makeup, Nollywood becomes their role model. And as you analyze, from makeup they do, the skin absorbs and becomes a problem to the system. We can do that better than radio show to extend this scholarship to our secondary school. It's going to serve a lot of girls. And particularly our people in the rural community, you know, when they are coming up, they look at Nollywood too as a role model, and these things are really eating deep into our society. What happens to our gazelle, the black gazelle that we know? What happens to the collie that people use? We grew up and we saw our elder sisters are using this, and it's quite helpful. Why can't we go back to the natural things? I think we should think reason beyond our nose. And permit me to ask this. concerning the food stuff, we are talking about preserving food with chemicals. Now, it is a proof thing that there is nothing that survives when you cooked or you boiled in a boiled water. No organism survives. What happens if they preserve maize with sniper? That maize will be taken for grinding. It will pass through processes, and you finally boil it. You cook it. It stays for quite a long time on on fire. Does that mean that those chemicals will not even died or somehow vanished?
Good question.
What's your take on that one?
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, Plato.
Thank you, Gao, Mr. Gao. Thank you. We appreciate your input on the show this morning. I think the Ghazal and all the other makeups like that have disappeared. Don't you think so? They don't seem to exist anymore.
They've been overtaken by newer injurious technology.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you doing this morning?
We're good. Who do we have on the line, or where are you calling from?
This is Samuel Chima calling from Abuja.
Samuel
I am
Chima.
very happy. It's from my any contribution this morning, but I'm happy to reconnect to my state, Plateau State.
Okay. We're actually streaming on Facebook. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. We're streaming on Facebook, Good Morning Plateau Official. If you go there, you will see us streaming there.
Okay, what are we looking at?
Listen, if you just go and stream, you will just get the points.
And then you are sure it's not too late for me to
It's not too late.
Because I know we are running out of time.
No, it's not too late. Just go ahead. Thank you, Mr. Chima. Thank you for always calling from Abuja. 08125886. You can as well go to our Facebook page, Good Morning Plateau Live. You can drop a comment, ask your question, and we'll read it for you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
As a woman, I'm more worried about food.
Food, yeah.
Yeah, you see, I was opportune to go outside to Jerusalem, and I discovered that most of their farming is with organic manure. But you come to Nigeria, everybody is crazy about chemical fertilizer, and there when they farm with organic manure, they sell their products very fresh and then more costly. They will tell you that this is from organic manure. But our farmers here, they feel that to carry this organic manure to farm are more taxing, and you see them rushing to go and get the chemical fertilizer. In fact, personally, where they farm tomatoes with organic manure or carrots or cabbage, whatever, I prefer to take my money to buy it than to buy that of the chemical fertilizer. Something needs to be done the whole country so that we will change the trend, so that we eat healthy. Even if it is aleho, you put this organic manure, you are eating healthy. Yeah? So I'm more worried. This your topic needs to be, I think it should be divided like into the way pharmacists has divided, they have taken the things. These topics can be divided into 4 sections, and then let them treat one at a time. Then so that you will be saving a lot of us. We are dying too early in this country.
Thank you, Madam Martha, all the way from Gindri. Thank you so much. I'm sure pharmacists will respond to this, what you raised up, and of course this is an ongoing conversation. We continue to bring this up as much time as possible. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, 0812-588-60548 is the number to call. One more call and pharmacists will respond to you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, go ahead. Who do we have on the line and where are you coming from?
John Anthony from Jandam.
Okay, John Anthony, go ahead.
I want to ask question about there is one insect. We call it Shinge in Hausa.
One what? Okay. Termite.
This insect, many people, including the rainy season, in the full time, those insects came outside and people used to pack them very well and fry them. Some are selling them, some are eating them, some are using them for stew. What profit does this insect have? Those Shinge. So I see people like to eat them too much. They love them too much. So I don't know whether it's healthy. It didn't have healthy in their body. Can it work in the human body? That's my question.
Okay. If termites are healthy for the body. All right. Thank you. And we have this message on Facebook. Good morning, the presenter and the guests in the studio. How can people differentiate original palm oil from the one adulterated with red color? Thank you. I think pharmacist talked about that, but maybe he would just have to re-emphasize on that. Okay, go ahead, pharmacist, and respond.
So let me try to respond to the questions. We appreciate the callers. It just shows that they have been listening keenly, and it just shows also that we are ready for a change. So let me start from the last person who called about Shinge. Yes, those are actually products of termites, and they develop wings upon their exit from beneath the soil, and they begin to fly and access where there is illumination for them to perch. As it were, they are very proteinous. They have high levels, very healthy amino acid components that are healthy for humans to consume. What matters most is the method you use to process. Okay, the method you use to process. So there's something about it that is very unique. I mean, all of us ate Shinge when we were growing up, and you cannot but want to even have more, and you notice that when you eat a little, you just get satisfied. Yeah. So that's again because of the.
If you go beyond it, you throw up.
Good. That's because of the high component of it. Matter from Gendry recalled about organic fertilizer. There was a time I actually used organic because I farm. I used organic fertilizer on my rice farm, and that was the only year, because I can't even find organic fertilizer now. That was the only year I got a bumper harvest of rice that is healthy. And one of the things about it is that you stretch that rice and the seed remains intact. The protein code remains intact. But if you use a conventional chemical fertilizer, the seed code, the protein code actually falls off, and you may eventually not even get what it is. So for me, I've actually seen very effective component in the organic fertilizer that has been very useful to us. Then Sam from Abuja called, was he the one that asked about
no, from Abuja, he just wanted to know what we're discussing.
Okay. So somebody called and asked about whether sniper that is treated, I think is the girl, right?
Yeah, it's the girl.
He asked if sniper that is used to preserve, for example, beans and other grains,
is cooked and
then it gets completely destroyed when at temperature. Water actually boils at 100 degrees centigrade. Okay. Now other chemicals that are associated with boiling in water, okay, actually have varying boiling points. Do you understand? But water cannot exceed its boiling point. So while they will be boiled with water, they cannot exceed their boiling point. And that's why you need to establish various temperatures of some things. Now, sniper gets completely destroyed at a temperature of between 190 to 200 degrees Celsius.
So it can't be destroyed.
But one of the good things with it is that it's a bit volatile, and it can stay for about 3 to 6 months before it gets off. So assuming you treat your grains with sniper, and then you go and run short of money, don't go and sell it. You wait for your 6 months for it to completely volatilize, and then its duration of action gets off before you sell. You sell it out because it's an organophosphate, and as an organophosphate, it's a cholinesterase that is irreversible. It's irreversible, and the neurologic damage, that's the defect on the nerves, is even our concern. There are so many things that are associated with sniper. I remember when my mom, my 3 sisters were growing up. One time she now saw a little bit of, was it dandruff or some stuff on the hair. She now put sniper on their hairs, all of them, the 3 of them, and she tied it with a hair tie. We almost lost them, the 3 of them. Not that they took it. So like I established earlier, the skin is an absorption surface at all areas. You know, so she just put sniper small on the head, and then on the hair. Just
tied it.
And then she tied it the head tie so that to trap the organophosphate in it. They almost died. And of course we were growing. So when I became a pharmacist, or when I was now studying pharmacy, and I told her, I said this was actually what she did. The 3 of them almost died. I'm telling you. But good thing we are here. And then Guarzo also tried to find out the effect of chemical fertilizer, just corroborating what our mommy Mata Ongindri said. The truth of the matter is that fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, is one of the things that has become part of our farming process, unfortunately. But one of the things I will say is this: if you start cultivating a plot or a piece of land and you begin by adding fertilizer, you've lost the nutrients there, because the partitioning of the normal nutrients that are on the soil itself, there's usually a clear partition between it and the chemicals, such that by the next year, when you come, by the next farming period, when you now come to see farm and you do not add those chemical fertilizers, you are not going to get any form of result from there. And sadly, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium are the most, and then of course urea. They are the most form of chemicals that are used for chemical fertilizers. And by the time you apply those ones, and all of them are actually macro elements, as it were, and they are trapped in the food for them to actually potentiate the growth and ensure that you get bumper harvest. They are part of it. They are part of it. So I think basically that's that. But by and large, we have to mad. And then I have a good news for Plateau people, that about the issue of abattoir, His Excellency have been able to come up with a very fantastic and a brilliant idea of a standard abattoir. And in that abattoir, it's going to be located in Haipang, and there's also a supply chain component, there's a quality control component, where we are also partners in that. We're trying to see how we can work together for the healthy state of Plateau. Thank you.
Thank you so much, pharmacist Jerry Bott. I call him KJB. Thank you so much for your time this morning. We've been well educated on this, and of course, to you, the listener, your health starts with what's on your plate. And wash your fruits, cook properly, buy from trusted sources, report suspicious food, and don't let profit kill all of us.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for being part of today's conversation. I would like to appreciate the executive producer of this program, Rita Kachalon Pam, supervising producers Hudun Gang and Esther Nasara, producers Shambol, Mary James, Inga Samo, and Titus Datus. ICT, we had Simon Sebo and Rohi Danjima. Our DCA for today is Planret Dabang. Jacob Asut is the studio manager. Engineer is Dauda Ngoro. And from the newsroom, we had Bullshit Pam. We have IT students from Nile University, from Plasu, and from Veritas. Thank you so much for being part of today's conversation. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Good morning and thanks for joining us on Business News, coming to you live from our RFA facility. My name is Yaksat McClelk. President Bola Tinubu has approved a new investment framework for Nigeria's deep offshore oil and gas sector. A reform the presidency says could unlock up to $50 billion in fresh investment and revive large-scale offshore projects that have been stalled for decades. The framework, giving legal effect through the Deep Offshore Oil and Gas Project Incentives 2026, replaces the previous approach of negotiating incentives on a project-by-project basis with a transparent rules-based system built around clear eligibility criteria and defined implementation processes. According to a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the reform will kick off with a roughly $10 billion Bonga Southwest project and will apply across multiple categories of qualifying deep offshore developments going forward. The policy shift follows engagement between President Tinubu and Shell PLC Chief Executive Wal Sawan, rather than crafting a solution for a single project. The federal government opted to build a broader framework covering the sector, and as part of the approval, NNPC Limited, as the government's nominated counterpart under the existing production sharing contracts, has been cleared to proceed with amending eligible PSCs to give effect to the new framework. The presidency said the framework was developed through an extensive interagency process involving the Federal Ministry of Justice, the Federal Ministry of Finance, the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, the Nigerian Revenue Service, NNPC Limited, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, and industry operators. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has opened application for its 2026 Startup Awards with a total cash prize of $65,000 up for grasp amongst the top 3 startups. The second edition of the ECOWAS Startup Awards is designed to identify, celebrate, and support high-impact startups contributing to digital transformation, regional integration, and sustainable value chain development across West Africa. The program is being convened by the ECOWAS Commission's Directorate of Private Sector and Industry, hosted in Abuja, and jointly implemented by the Pan-African Alliance of Small and Medium Industries and Investment Promotion Agencies of West African States. The 2026 edition is expected to bring together 60 startups from ECOWAS member states and will feature masterclasses and startup clinics, pitch competitions, exhibitions, investor deal rooms, policy dialogues, and post-award acceleration application, and open to startup operating in 6 strategic sectors, including EdTech, FinTech, Health Tech, Agri-Tech, Clean Tech, and Travel Tech. The application portal opened on August 3rd, and interested startups have until August 31st to submit their application. And eligible startup founders across ECOWAS member states can apply through the official ECOWAS Startup Awards application portal. And applicants are advised to have all required documents ready before starting the process. In talking the economy, the Naira remained broadly stable against the United States dollar today, with the official Nigerian foreign exchange market rate trading around the mid 1,360 Naira band, while the parallel market hovered in the low 1,400 Naira range. And data from the Central Bank of Nigeria's foreign exchange platform showed the official exchange rate at about 1,364 Naira per dollar, reflecting only marginal movement from recent sessions. The official rate is derived from the volume-weighted average of trades executed on the market and serves as Nigeria's benchmark exchange rate. At the prevailing official rate, $100 exchange for roughly 136,400 Naira while in the parallel market the same amount was valued at about 141,500 naira. Market participants attributed the relative calm to continued liquidity management by the Central Bank of Nigeria and steady foreign exchange supply through the formal market. And analysts also noted that imported demand has remained moderate, helping the naira hold within a relatively tight range in recent weeks. And meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria says Nigeria's capital importation rose year on year to $2.82 billion in April 2026, indicating increased investor confidence in the economy. However, capital importation declined by 26.7% month on month to $2.82 billion in April, largely due to declines in foreign portfolio investments, foreign direct investments, and other investments. The Nigerian exchange equities market reversed gains to close on a downward note as market capitalization fell by 1.7 trillion naira amid losses in blue chips. At the close of transactions, market capitalization of listed equities declined to 159.26 trillion naira on Tuesday, representing a loss of 1.17 trillion naira. And similarly, the Nigerian Exchange All-Share Index fell to 246,723.7 points, shedding 0.73%. The market's negative performance was driven by price depreciation in large and medium capitalized stocks. And looking ahead, Cowrie Assets Management Limited said the market is expected to gradually moderate into a bullish trend as investor sentiment continues to improve. As measured by market breadth, market sentiment was positive as 27 stocks gained relative to 26 losers. The total volume traded advanced by 270.4% to 3.1 billion units, valued at 32.38 billion naira, and exchanged in 45,608 deals. And Nigeria's homegrown public-private partnership model for customs modernization has been adopted as the template for a $3.1 billion African continental free trade area customs modernization project, expected to cover about 50 member countries. The Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission said the development marked a significant shift in Nigeria's position from a market for infrastructure and technology solutions to an exporter of indigenous solutions to the rest of Africa. The Director General of the ICRC, Dr. Jobson Ewalefo, disclosed this in Abuja while reacting to the signing of the 20-year AFCFTA Customs Modernization Project Concession Agreement between the AFCFTA Secretariat and Beman's Security Consultants and Supplies Limited, the parent company of Trade Modernization Project. The Continental Project is expected to deploy the customs modernization model across participating AFCFTA countries in support of a single African market conserving about 1.3 billion people. The agreement followed the experience of Nigeria's customs modernization project, under which the TMP developed B-Odogu, the Unified Customs Management System, now being deployed across Nigeria Customs Service. The AFCFTA Secretary General Wamkele Mene said Nigeria's experience demonstrated how technology could transform customs administration, adding that the results recorded in the country gave the Secretariat confidence to replicate the model across the continent. And that wraps it up for us in business news, reaching you live from our Rayfield studio. You can stay tuned with us by 2 p.m. when News Track comes away, and 6:30 p.m. when Global News also comes on the platform, as well as other programs emanating from our platforms. Thanks for joining, and bye for now.